Thank you all. My name is Kevin Berman. I work for First Five Alameda County, co-founder of the Alameda County Fathers Corps. Today, this is our father-friendly provider network. The father-friendly provider network is meant to build the capacity of participants to effectively engage and support the needs of fathers and also to really be advocates on behalf of fathers. So we really encourage you guys to challenge your organizations and your programs to do a better job of creating father-specific programming, and just do a better job of engaging and supporting dads themselves. We don't want to take any attention away from mom and child. We just want to expand that focus so that we are serving the entire family. So thank you all for joining us. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dara, our facilitator of today's training that is focused on supporting and engaging dads in a virtual environment. Dara?
Thank you, Kevin. My name is Dara Griffin. I am a family and community engagement consultant. I work very closely with Kevin in the Father Corps. It's my third year supporting the Father Corps. It's gone really fast too. These years, I guess when you get older, they start turning over more quickly. I just want to say thank you for being here on Friday. There's a lot of choices, a lot of Zooms happening. You get to choose which ones you want to go to, and thank you for choosing this one. I really just want to let you know that today's conversation will have structure, but we also want to have just a good conversation about what you all are doing, what you all see happening virtually with supporting dads. And we also have an amazing group of panelists who are already engaging and supporting dads virtually. And I'm going to ask each one of them to quickly introduce themselves. And you'll see who our panelists are. And then we'll get into the PowerPoint.
Chris,
Let's,
go ahead.
thank you.
Morning, everybody. This is my name is Chris Gibson. I am with Alameda County Fatherhood Initiative, a member of Fathers Corps. Currently, right now, I am a family support case manager and the lead coordinator for Cafe Dad Fatherhood Groups.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Abdi. I'm from Hayward Unified School District, and we work with fathers and father figures in our Cafe Dads.
Thanks, Abdi. Go ahead, Otis.
Hi, my name is Otis Ward, and I am community outreach coordinator. Work with Alameda Alliance. I do work with the Father Initiative and teach parenting classes with family paths.
Hi all, I'm Mike Lewis. I am a fatherhood specialist and parent educator for Family Paths. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great. Thank you all for introducing yourselves. I just want to make sure you can see my screen. Here's what we are talking about today. And today is not the 19th, sorry, it's the 20th. Want to just kind of make sure, I don't want to assume that everybody knows how to do Zoom and all this, but I just want to check in. If you are familiar with Zoom, if you could use the raise your hand feature or raise your hand physically so I can see how we are on Zoom and whether I need to go through the setup slides. Thank you very much. It looks like most of us are familiar. You can use your reactions or raise your hand physically. And one other thing, it's nice to be in a training with other humans and we can see each other faces. It's very hard as a trainer, as a workshop presenter, to present to black boxes. So if you're able to show your face, please do so. We understand that you might have to mute your camera from time to time, but we're also going to be using breakout rooms here. And so it'd be nice if the person that you're in the rooms with would be able to see you. But we understand people are working from home and all of that. So we're going to ask as much as you can to be present, to try to remove most of your distractions, get something to eat, drink, to take notes, and just try to center yourself for today. And while we're trying to center, I have a little video that I like to show, just some little breathing for us to start off. just kind of getting centered, calming down from the week. And I'm wondering if I tell me if you can hear the music. If you don't, I'll have to redo my share.
No music there.
I always forget to do those two little
So do I.
buttons. Okay, so thank you for indulging in that for a moment. We already did this. Let me do something so I can see you all again. There you go. Here's our quick agenda. I'm going to just let you read that for yourself. I do reserve the right to change the agenda, to move things around, to skip things and come back, and to leave things out completely. So we are really going to just, be together. These are the things that we're going to touch upon. If you have questions at any time, we are monitoring the chat. Feel free to raise your hand, use a raise your hand tool, put a question in the chat. We have Kevin and Virve helping to monitor that. So if I could have you use the chat right now and go into the chat space and put these things, your name, well, your name should be on your box, but your name, your position, where you work, and one thing you love about your job. So we can kind of get an idea about who's here. Then when we go into the breakout room, we can do some more formal introductions once we get in there. So in the chat, your name, your position, where you work, and one thing you love about your job. While you're doing that, just also want to let you know that we will be using interactive slides today. Oh, we San Mateo County in the house. Okay. Okay. Connections, the family, supporting staff, advocating on behalf of fathers, learning new things. Thank you so much. Continue to put things in the chat. What I'm sharing in the chat right now is the interactive slide deck that we'll be using in the training. What I'd like you to do now is to click on the link that is in the chat, and that's going to take you to a new window where you will be telling us why you are here and why you decided to take this Zoom out of all the other Zooms that were offered today. And we like to know your goals for our time together. So we're here to talk about how we can support dads in this virtual environment that we find ourselves in. Please click that link. It will open up to our interactive slides, and then we can see why we are here and why other people are here today around this topic. And as you fill that in, I'm sharing my screen and we can see each other's what we like to learn. Best practices, learn how to best support fathers, learn from the experts. And if the interactive slides are not working for you, if you go into the chat and put your answer in the chat, Virve or Kevin will then put your answer into the interactive slide. Get more creative ideas. Yep. How to involve dads in our work. So I'm going to give us a few more seconds to keep populating this. Sounds like somebody keeps getting kicked off.
We just lost Ricky. He said he had to jump off, so that might
Okay.
be what that was.
All right, so we're going to keep going. Ideas and information, how to get dads to participate, recognize the digital divide that exists. Yep. To be more supportive and keep dads engaged, information, ideas, new tools. So this is a tool. If you haven't been using interactive slides as a tool, this will be included in the follow-up email that you'll get after today's training together. So I will go back and present. So I do have this PowerPoint, but the feature today really is the panelist. So I have these slides kind of broken up into 3 areas: preparation, outreach and recruitment, and then the actual engagement of dads in this virtual space. And so we'll start with the preparation, and I'm just going to go really fast, and then I'm going to turn it over to the panelists to add things regarding how we prepare. So having men work with other men is one of the ways that we can prepare. Finding men who are qualified and who are good at working with other men, preparing staff and co-workers for men to be in the space. Right now, that's not happening as much. Organizing and operationalizing the father-friendly principles in each one of our programs in our agencies, and then identifying how we can provide incentives, especially now, to dads to get them engaged. Did you guys want to say, any of you want to say more about the preparation phase when it comes to being able to support dads in our programs?
Yeah, I'll say this. Let me turn my camera on. I apologize. Yeah, and so I'll say this. One of the things is making sure that our mindset is correct too. Being prepared, because you never know what you're gonna get coming into these groups. You know, these men have dealt with many challenges and things like that. So preparing something for yourself prior to the meeting, and then also preparing for them, something like what Dara just did before we got started, to kind of help ground them and kind of, you know, relax them and kind of ease their minds on the day's challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, equally so. I want to say, on top of, like Chris said, preparing yourself for what you could encounter or what you could, have to deal with within, the structure of your class. Also, considering things that you can do to keep them engaged or at least feel comfortable with each other. So starting with an opening exercise, even not just the breathing, but also something that can build a little bit more kinship or a bond in between them ahead of your classes.
Also, I like, well, go ahead.
Thank you. You go ahead, Otis.
As Doris stated, one thing to be prepared that don't have your, have it stuck in your mind that you have to stick with the script. Be flexible with your agenda and just fill out the atmosphere. And that'll make you more at ease, as well as your group will benefit from it.
And could you say more just around how you prepare yourself for one-to-one interactions with dads right now while we're in this virtual environment? Because there's case management and one-to-one meetings that we have to have as well.
Yeah, with me, kind of getting ready for the case management thing, it's a little different because now everything is virtual. I'll say this, it's a lot more convenient. Instead of me, trying to figure out time and schedule a time, we can just, hop on a Zoom or hop on a FaceTime and actually get whatever it is that we need to get done. Another thing too is kind of be ready for sometimes not to have that interaction on the one-on-one because of the Zoom, where if we were in person and we were going through a family support case plan or something like that, they'd probably be a little bit more engaged. There's some activities that I like to do with my guys, and so right now I'm kind of trying to twist them or kind of prepare them virtually now so that I can kind of put them up before the clients on the Zoom and things like that, and get that more interaction and more engaging conversation.
Mhm. So how many of you are having a lot of success with recruiting and outreaching to fathers to be engaged in services at this time? Who's having lots of success in this area? Who is having lots of success before COVID-19?
So before COVID, I was having a lot of success as far as recruiting and outreach in all facets, not just the group management or just not just the group, but the case management and the care coordination. And to me, I felt it to be a lot easier because I was able to touch people more and get out there. Now I'm finding it a little difficult, but I am having some success. In fact, in our group numbers have increased because of the convenience of Zoom and guys being able to log on from home or from cars or from anywhere remotely. And so making sure that we get our information out and talking to people and actually following up and building relationship when we get the referrals back is very key to that.
Yeah, so who else would like to comment on the panel about what you're doing now to increase your recruitment and outreach and what's been effective since we've been in this environment?
I'll
I'll
start.
say, go ahead, Otis.
Okay. I use social media, and one thing since I do outreach, I've been working in the Greater Bay Area for well over 30 years, so I have a lot of my database of contacts are strong. But even just using Facebook, I have a Facebook page that I use just to network with people. And so you want to be my friend, just send me a friend request because it benefits me. It benefits me when I'm putting out information about father friendly programs and parenting classes or whatever I'm working on. And then the word of mouth is awesome. And so Instagram, LinkedIn, all those social media platforms are dynamic, and especially now I was using it before we got sheltered in and in the current climate we're in, but now I can add to it, and you don't have to go to the Rolodex and look up all those business cards. Now you can just send out a blast to the community.
Mhm.
That's
Thank
a
you,
great
Otis.
point. That's a great point, Otis. Social media is definitely big thing prior to COVID and definitely right now in COVID. Social media is a great way to reach fathers. I've been using flyers, digital flyers, and I'll put the link to the meeting on the flyer. So it makes it easier for fathers just to click on the link. Making the passwords shorter and easier so people have one less hurdle to cross. And just making the whole outreach process easier for fathers. And then I use email, of course, phone calls, like we said, social media, and the apps. Thank you, Chris. Chris turned me into a Remind app. So that's an app where you can schedule, announcements to go out, and fathers get the information on time.
Well, thank you. I didn't know about that one. If you are using any sort of technology that's helping you to do your job better, that is not widely known, if you want to go ahead and put that in the chat, that could be really helpful for all of us. I've been learning about all kind of different things that people are using to make our jobs a little bit easier right now. Anyone else want to say anything about outreach and recruitment? What you're doing right now? What has had to change? What's been effective? What's not effective? Darren, hello there.
I probably, along with Brother Otis, I'm probably I have a little bit more of a leg up, kind of beneficial that our agency has a helpline, a helpline that actually people call into, so it kind of helps with a lot of recruiting for us, for me specifically, but equally so, like I said, utilizing your contacts, friends, family, anybody that you know of that can actually support you. Am I giving feedback again? I feel like I'm giving feedback. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, good.
All right, thanks. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to check in about that. But yeah, just checking in with family, friends, anybody that you could think of in that regard that can actually speak for you on your behalf. Word of mouth is key.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Michael. Darren, I see you unmuted yourself. Did you want to say something? Uh-oh, are you frozen? Uh-oh.
Oh, yes. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I completely forgot about this call, even though I saw it in my calendar this morning. All the blows to the head from football, but, and the cocktails. But, it's been hard to recruit just by social media and trying to utilize some of the agencies I work with, because a lot of the young men they're burned out from going to school on the computer all day and then wanting to.
Darren, I think we lost you. Your audio is pretty choppy, and then you just went totally out. So yeah, we can't hear you, brother.
Darren, do this. If you stop sharing, a lot of time, if you stop sharing your video, it provides more bandwidth for your audio. So go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to keep going on outreach and recruitment, and then we'll have you back.
Okay.
And just to bring some things up, I know he was talking about some of the difficulties in recruiting, and I know we had talked about previously about some new ideas. So, we had someone that was talking about, how to get the information out there. And one guy is working at a food bank, and I was telling him maybe he could possibly put the flyers on the bags that they're handing out to the families. Another idea came to our group a while back where we partner up with a local pizza company and have our flyer on top of the pizza boxes. So as they're going out to the families, they're getting this, hey, dad's group, or dad's information, or dad's program, things like that. So that's kind of, a little different method as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and obviously we want people to stay safe, but also consider going to places where families are still going, like Chris mentioned, food distribution sites, laundromats. Families still have to do their laundry. Chris, you mentioned yesterday, barbershops. Some barbershops are still open. Also, I would like to point out that utilize the services that First Five provides. So First Five has a Help Me Grow listserv that goes out to thousands of providers. So, and that goes out every 2 weeks. So if you have a flyer, an event, or you have a service that you want to promote, that is a good place to utilize as well. So you can email that to me or Virve, and we can make sure it's included. But yeah.
And to add to that, I'm sorry,
Go
for
ahead,
it.
Lee.
Go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
and to add to that as well, we're still having babies born, that's not stopping. So reaching out to your local hospital, I know you can hit up Highland, you can hit up for my people in Cocoa County, Martinez, the local hospital there, and Kaiser's and things like that. You can still talk to labor and delivery there, and they're still doing these classes, even though they're virtual. They're still doing these Lamaze classes and breathing centering classes. You can hit them up as well.
Um,
I think
yeah,
I wanted
I
to.
just
Go ahead, Lee.
Okay, so I think you were talking about outreach and hard to find fathers and things like that. For me, the main thing for me is because I don't facilitate, I don't do, so I bring people in. And so because I work really close with the San Leandro Unified School District. So if you need help with finding, because all of my events is really successful, the flu shots, we're doing a lot of stuff and it's really good promoting through the whole district. And I have access to emails with principal, vice principal, everyone in the district, like staff, teachers, things like that. So I can help with that kind of outreach for you guys. If, like, say, you can even get invited to be in like a parents meetings or parent liaison meetings for each of the school. If anyone would like to be that connection, I can be help with that as well, because my work there is just to provide all the services that are available in the whole county for family to get access to. And I know that I did bring in one of the father from R3 last year, and this year I was trying to, I'm working on to see if he can be able to, do like a virtual things, but haven't been successful yet. But anyone that wanted to partner with me, that to offer that to our parents, then I would totally take upon that and, doing all the outreach for you. You just had to present and you just had to, be there.
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah, I already sent you a message. So yeah,
Leah,
most
can you
definitely.
put your email
I
in the
think I put
chat?
my email. Okay, sure.
Yes, thank you.
That
Yeah,
is great.
anything I can help, because I wanted to do all this, but I just, because like you facilitator and you doing the whole workshop and things like that, and I don't have that ability to, but I have the connection. So
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kevin, this is Darren. I just emailed you and Verve the flyer for my anti-sex trafficking workshops.
Okay.
If you can share with the network, I appreciate it.
I will.
Thank you.
No problem.
And you sound better.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. But you can't see my handsome face though.
We will work on that. Let's work on that.
I don't know how we're going to continue, Darren, without that.
always gotta make you guys laugh. You know that. Come on, man.
All right, let me share my screen again.
There's another great outreach tool I want to share. Churches, reaching out to local churches. We've had a lot of success with pastors and people from the church who have a wide network of people they can outreach to.
That's true. And also one of the other places that we haven't mentioned that people are still going to is people still got to go to the grocery store.
Mhm.
People still got to go get those diapers.
Mhm.
So dads are still out. And how are we able to talk to them? This is the next place. How are we highlighting incentives, identifying other fathers who can support our outreach, and asking moms to let the dads know what's going on, but also what is our compelling reason that we are articulating to dads about why they should be involved in any particular service. So whether it's a group or if it's just engaging in any service that we're providing as service providers, what are you saying to them? What is the message that you have? So let's hear some response on the message, the compelling reason for logging in or talking to you.
We've
Um,
used at the school district, I like to tap on the education part and say, you know, students do better when they have involved fathers in their education. And I've seen that work real well.
Mhm.
I like to chime in on the stress factor, especially where we are, what the state of everything right now. Um, bringing up the idea of trying to figure out different ways to get around the stress and self care. I try to make it more, even though we come together for our kids and we're trying to learn different tool sets for our kids, but the more so tools for us in regards to ourselves and regarding self care. So I really talk about the stress factor more than anything.
And to add to what Michael just said as well, it's a child development factor to me. So after we taking care of ourselves, how do we help engage our fathers in being a prime advocate to their child's development, understanding the developmental milestones and where their child is now and where their child need to be, and if they see anything or is concerned about anything, making sure that they know how to address it and not having certain expectations to where their child can't meet them. So making sure that they understand the child development factor of it as well.
Anyone else? What's your compelling reason? What are you saying to dads?
And to add to that, one of my biggest things is I tell them, in our group, you're going to be connected to other dads that have failed. You're going to be connected to other men that has, succeeded. And one of the biggest things and to almost guarantee your success is to learn from others' failures. And that's what you want to do. And so you come in, you hear about these guys and some of their stories and how they overcame and some of the things that they survived but yet they still are successful fathers, yet they're still present in their child's life in spite of all of the challenges and difficulties that it took for them to get there. They're still there. And so a lot of times you're not the only one going through, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times guys have showed up to the group and was like, wow, I thought I was the only one that was going through that, or I thought I was the only one that felt like that, when they have these groups out here that are guys are feeling and talking about how they overcame that very situation. And one of the things that I always tell them in our group, I say, listen, our group is father focused, but we're family oriented. In other words, we're going to give you
Mm-hmm.
everything that you can be so that you can be the best for your family. Your family can be the best.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, I share, since I'm a dad, my personal testimony. And then also, I try to identify every dad is different. So it depends, or have certain different needs. So it depends on where I'm at or who I'm speaking with. But the bottom line is support, offering support. And all dads need support from no matter how wide the spectrum is, whether it's someone that's on the corporate head of a CEO of an organization, or someone that's, out there, just trying to make ends meet. Everyone needs support in some type of way. And so when I speak with different individuals, I let them know that, I have support, and it's not easy being a dad. It's not easy being a parent. There's no roadmap on how to be a parent, but we have tools that can support you. We have a tool chest that you can go in and can get the tools that you need to be that successful father that you want to be.
Right, thank you. Tailored message. That's what I got from what Otis said. A tailored message that's speaking to the needs and the support. But that is a skill, right? And I'm sure you have improved your skills over the years of how to do that and be able to really read a dad or a person before you even get to them and kind of know what direction you need to go in. And you also can't be scary when you do outreach. You got to be like okay with talking to strangers. You got to be okay with just walking up and starting a conversation with a person that you don't know. And
I like
sometimes,
something.
yes, go ahead, Abdi.
I like something that was said yesterday. You know, I don't usually put the incentives out there, but saying, something like, can you use $50? And just to get their attention. And of course, the incentives might motivate them to come through the door, but then the group itself will keep them there. The quality of the group.
The quality of the group, the quality of the service that we're providing. And I think that the outreach and recruitment, and this is for every person that's doing outreach and recruitment, regardless of program, you really just have to be an outgoing person. And if you're not, you have to pretend to be at that moment. Right? You just have to suck it up. And if they say no or get out of here, I mean, who's had that happen? Like, no, just kind of, no, I'm not interested. You, right?
Yeah.
And there's, go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry, there.
No,
I was gonna say too, with that, for the people that feel like they're a little less outgoing, know that at the same time, we connect with people on different levels at all times. We connect with people even if you're at the grocery store, the line taking too long, somebody, doing, y'all both look at each other and y'all like, oh my God, this slow cashier. You're like, man, yeah, I know the gang here. Man, my kids drive me crazy. Your kids drive, oh man, hey, look, man, just speaking of kids, I got this groove. And you just figure out different ways to make those connections. So you just have to figure out how to parlay the conversation into fitting into what your overall goal is, which is recruitment and outreach. And so having it, when you find those little opportunities where we crash into each other, I say that because we, whatever it may be, however we come across each other, we're, as human beings, we end up connecting. So making sure that you utilize every opportunity that you have to figure out a way to take a conversation into what your overall goal is, which is getting recruitment and bringing in fathers.
Yep. Amazing places where there's always lines. The Dollar Tree and a 99-cent store. Always a long line. One cashier, no matter what, right?
There's a bunch of pissed off dads in that line, so you can definitely connect about that stretch.
Right?
Yes, I was in there the other day.
Right? And Walmart too. Forgot about them.
Yeah, Walmart.
Yeah.
Costco.
One thing I did want to add is that you do have an upper hand when it comes to outreaches, because I always say one thing, children don't discriminate. So I don't care what dad you run into, children are going to be children. And so when you walk up, sometimes you're going to be that hero. You're going to bring, it's like, hey, I got some support for you. Don't think that every person you walk up to just got it all together. So children don't discriminate. Children are going to be children.
That's right. That's right. Providing services. Okay, so this is our first breakout. I think it might be our only one too. So here's what I want you to talk about in the breakout space. You're going to say your name, one quality I like to bring as a service provider. Sorry, the R is missing. Is, and then you're going to put the word in, and then explain why this quality is so important right now. So we have how many people in here? About 17 of us, 21 of us. If we can break out into 4 rooms, Virve, That would be awesome. I'm gonna stop sharing. Don't let us go yet. We're gonna have about 7 minutes to answer this question. So in the room, everybody should be able to introduce themselves and then answer this question. Any questions? All right, I think we can open the rooms, Virve.
All right. You're muted, Kevin.
Can you check the rooms, because I was in one and I left, and Dara was in the same one I was in. So can you just make sure that there are enough people in that room if Dara
Yeah,
leaves?
there is 1, 2, 3, 4 people in that room.
So if Dara leaves, there'll be 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody else left. So, oh wait. So yeah, I think you should be fine. Every room has about the same number of people.
Okay.
I just sent the job posting that Darren sent.
The flyer for his workshop or the job posting?
The job posting.
Okay,
I did.
perfect.
I think I sent already a flyer. This is now the job posting.
Okay. Hey, Hector, did you get kicked out? You're muted. Hector, did you get kicked out of the room or what happened? Okay. What room were you in? You're muted. What were you saying? I still can't hear you. The mute button's gone. You're not muted.
You know, maybe it's an audio from his computer. Is your computer on silent?
Yeah, maybe your microphone is muted.
No, we can't hear you.
Maybe you want to log off and log back on? Okay.
It happens. You're muted too, Kevin.
I can't believe how low these numbers are.
Yeah.
It's Friday though. You're muted, Hector.
Technology.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah?
Yes.
Man, good to see you.
Good to see you, brother. You doing all right?
I'm doing all right, hanging in there. I'm actually at the office today. That made it a little more complicated,
Yeah.
but I'm doing good. It's nice to reconnect with y'all.
Yeah, good to see you, brother. Do you want us to put you back in your room that you were left in? That you got
I
put
wasn't
out
in
of?
the room. Like I got kicked out right before as we were transitioning. So I didn't even
Okay.
get one.
Okay.
Can you add me to one?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Vivek.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good to see you, brother.
All right, take care.
I added him in the room you left.
Dara was having some technical difficulties, so she had to log off. She's going to log back on in just a second. Can I get a couple of volunteers to share a little bit about what you guys discussed in your breakout rooms? Don't everybody speak at once.
One of the things that was brought up right before ours ended was the question around trying to provide the services that attract or provide content that attracts fathers from different backgrounds to come in. And one thing that was brought up was like exactly by Chris, which is something that I do as well, that we do in our groups, is fathers need information regarding child support and different things of that nature. Reach out to your local child support agency and find out who they can have, and maybe it'll provide somebody that can offer a free come through and just provide information about things around child support, especially considering the fact that that's kind of like the big bad wolf, the scary ghost in most conversations that deal with fathers. The scary ghost story. So, about how they've been dealing with, and said it too about being in a barber shop and hearing about child support, took all money and did all this type of stuff, but getting the information by word of mouth from their peers, but not getting all the factors that went into that, such as, the fact that they, had paperwork come through and they didn't fill it out. And also, about, having the opportunity, especially single dads, to get that information or to get child support as well. So just reaching out to your local, the different resources that you have, whatever it may be. Don't be afraid to go and reach out and find out, what it is that that agency can do. And, ask the dads that are in your group, what do they desire? What is it that they want information on? And then do your footwork to go get those entities to bring that information in.
Thank you. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, it's definitely important to talk to the dads that you're working with to find out what's important to them. And we have a very close working relationship with Alameda County Child Support. We actually had a community outreach person on the call earlier. Leon was on the call earlier, and they have a community outreach person whose job is to come out and provide accurate, up-to-date information on the policies and practices of child support, and they are more than willing to do that. as far as Alameda County is concerned, and I believe it's the same in other counties. So it's important to get accurate information because we all know the barbershop talk. Sometimes it's not the most accurate. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. And when child support or your money is involved, it's important to have accurate and up-to-date information. So thanks for that, Michael. Anybody else want to share what you guys talked about in your breakouts?
I really like what our group talked about, and that was about breaking the stereotype. And the Fatherhood Initiative is a movement to get fathers involved. And that movement is trying to break that, the negative stereotypes that fathers are traditionally not involved. And yeah, that was a great topic.
Thanks for that, Abdi. Yeah, the language I like to use is, I used to say change the narrative of fatherhood, and I started using different language where it's really highlighting the true narrative of fatherhood, because fathers are involved, and the ones that aren't, in most cases, want to be. At least the fathers that I've come in contact with, they want to be involved. And so I like to say highlight the true narrative of fatherhood. So thanks for that, Abdi. Darren, I'm gonna turn it back over to you. Are you back in action?
Yes, thank you. My computer, one of my monitors was not doing anything. So thank you guys for dealing with that for momentarily. Also in our breakout room, I get the sense that this might be, is this anyone's on the call first time on a Father Core training or being to a Father Core kind of gathering or meeting? If this is your first time coming to a Father Core meeting or gathering, just raise your hand if it is. Because sometimes we forget to ask that. And so I just wanted to make sure if this is anybody's first time kind of coming. So we're gonna continue. Let me share my screen again. All right, so that was the question I had. Did you guys already kind of went through it, but about insights and things that you might have learned, or any kind of other ideas you might have gotten from people? And I got this from, and I know this already from Darren, but how important it is to have some humor, especially right now, while we're going through continuing to shelter at home.
Humor is extremely important. I think humor, I mean, like you said, especially while we're at home, but utilizing humor, I utilize it as a way to kind of break the ice, especially by, telling stories about, how imperfect I am as a father, as a parent, my experiences, challenges I have. And it's really just to break the ice for fathers, or parents that may feel like, especially as a dad, sometimes as a dad, it's difficult getting information from another male that you feel on the same terms, like on the same level. If you haven't built a certain level of respect. So I tend to use the whole idea of comedy about, stories that I'm dealing with to kind of break the ice and show them like I'm not great at this either. I'm still learning. And so they can utilize that and feel comfortable with sharing their stories and knowing that, not a perfect science. We always learning. Kids are all different fingerprint. So.
Mike, something's going on with your audio again. It kind of just started while you were talking.
I don't know if it was Mike though. It might have been Otis, because once Otis muted himself,
it was fine.
It cleared up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Zoom, y'all. It's always something, right?
And then also to add that, not only just humor, but then just making it fun too, making it fun for guys to be a part, right? Yeah, we have to laugh and most definitely laugh, but also we need to enjoy it, right? We need to enjoy coming. We need to enjoy doing the things that we're doing. So, doing some things to where we can make it fun.
That is so important, because even as the service provider, you kind of want to keep it fresh for you too a little bit, right? Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about providing services. So we had preparation, we had recruitment and outreach, and now we're kind of getting to just service provision. So whether you're doing a group or whether you're enrolling men and fathers into programs, I just want to throw it back to our panel about what are you doing in your role as a service provider to make sure you're being effective. So we have a few things up here. So we have especially because we're on Zoom and any other kind of electronic kind of medium right now, learning a variety of techniques to get dads engaged and to get them into being feeling comfortable, giving specific feedback and two-way communication, creating an emotionally safe environment. How are we doing that, especially now when you some of our meetings, maybe we are doing one-on-ones, maybe we are talking to people, but mostly everything is FaceTime, Zoom, phone, Google Meets, all the things that we're doing. And then how are you being flexible to allow, we might have an agenda that we have to cover and we have forms that we have to get filled out, but how are you being flexible so the dads can be able to say, this is what I need? Panel.
I'll speak on the technology piece. Speaking in general, working with fathers that have a low technology IQ, I guess for lack of better words, and being patient with them, being patient as far as downloading the software and then how to use it, and scheduling a time to show them how to do it. So whether it's a phone call and then just following up and making sure that they got everything they need, because right now the courts are using online software, so it's very important that that father knows how to use that software to be able to make it for their appointment.
Wow. What kind of software is the court using?
I have to look it up, but I know it's not Zoom. It's one of the other video conferencing softwares.
Okay. Probably one that's not easy.
Always.
That's
always
my
the most
guess.
difficult one. Yeah.
All right. Who else? What are you doing in your provision of service to just make it more comfortable for dads right now?
I know with us, we take a lighthearted approach, meaning, there's no strict guidelines or anything like that. A lot of the guys that show up on our group is laying across the bed. Their screen is black. A lot of them during the time their kids are interrupting, so their kids are coming and waving in the screen and doing things like that. And not only just that, but encouraging them to do that, because this is the whole point of it, right? I mean, in the middle of a Zoom, my son will come and be all up in the screen and waving and saying hi to everybody, and that's what this whole thing is about. So, let's have some fun with it. Let's accommodate that. Let's allow you to do those different things and just really continue to be a part of this group, because that's the whole point of it. And to be honest with you, other guys love seeing the other kids as well. Oh, let me go get my kid, and then all the kids are up there and they just waving at each other, things like that. So that's one part of it, is just being lighthearted and allowing things like that to happen because of where we are. Another thing as well, and I know Derek talked about documentation and getting things signed. What we're doing is just having them verbally consent to being a part, and what we would do is just print their name there and the date that they verbally consent to being a part of our group or being a part of our case management, things like that, just so that things can be a lot easier. We don't have to wait and wait till we actually see them or things like that, because it could be months before that even happened. So just doing things like that as well. So
Is anyone else streamlining their processes? Sometimes the intake would be like 25 pages. Is it down to like 20 pages now? Is anyone streamlining and saying these are the most important things that we need to enroll or to assess right now? Is anyone making changes any kind like that in your programs?
So we are in the process of doing. In fact, I just got a 49-page enrollment that I have to cut. So and they're actually looking at, no, you can't cut that, you can't cut that, you can't cut that, and it's just really difficult right now. So right now we've got that all of that on the back burner, but it's going to have to eventually happen. So right now we are looking in the process of cutting our intake and triage process.
Where do you go from 49? I mean, geez. I mean, even if you
Yeah,
cut it down
it's
to
a
40, I mean, that's still a bit much.
it's a lot because it deals with several things. It deals with the father, it deals with the mother, and it deals with the child. And so it's all three processes.
And you're doing
So
that in one sitting over the
and we're
phone?
doing that in one city. Normally we would do it face to face in one city and get it over with. Now just recently I had to do it, and I had to break it down into 4 different forms because I didn't want him to think that, man, this is all one form. So I said, so we're going to do your information today, tomorrow, and then the last day we're going to do it like that, and so but I will say this though, for new client, it is a great conversation starter. As a case manager, one of the things that we need is information so that we can better serve you, and they are some good conversation starters to have. It helps me, make sure I got certain resources for them. It may trigger some emotions that I'm like, all right, I need probably some mental health support for him, things like that. So I mean, it's good, but it's just extensive and timely.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to your skill set, because to get somebody to come back after doing something like that, brother, you must be quite talented.
Yeah, I don't let them know it's one form. I let them know it's different forms.
Yeah, I mean that really speaks to like strategy. So how are you changing up your strategy right now? So we have, people are coming out for things that they really, really need. So we have dads and fathers showing up at the food banks, at the grocery stores, and things like that. How we're using strategy to get them into our services and into enrolling. What are we doing? We're doing things differently. And so part of this conversation is about learning from each other. What have you had to change? What have you had to switch in order to be effective in this area? So
And I want to say something to this too, because I know this, and I think I mentioned this yesterday. We're getting a lot of referrals from the juvenile probation department of these young fathers, 15, 16, 17 years old, 18 years old, and being released from the JJC. And so they're not making it mandatory. However, they are saying it looks good if you're involved in a program like this because you have a 6 weeks month old or a 6 weeks old or a month old child, and you really need this type of support. And so that's, for me, is what's been really big is that we're kind of getting a lot of referrals and support from the JJC. And actually we even got a referral from family court mediation, and they required a father to take a class and told him, hey, look, go check this place out. And he showed up, and it's been like all good ever since. And so those different type of things. But I will say this though, that's been a year and a half, 2 years worth of lead work that we have done to try to build those relationships. They're just really paying off now because there's very limited resources that they can send all these people to right now.
Thank you, Chris.
I think equally so was said yesterday. I can't remember, one of us said it yesterday, but your strategy also being like, which I've had, mothers come to me too. The mothers that have, they want the child's father, they're trying to connect him with something. Oh, he needs that. Let me get that information, and then try to connect them to whatever you're doing. And so it's always, it's another strategy just the same. It may not have the same effectiveness depending on that relationship dynamic, but at the same time, it is another methodology to utilize.
I wanted to comment on changes that we made. We got away from hard copy paper, and we went to more electronic type of forms. And then We innovated our forms where we have drop down windows and things you can just touch and choose whatever you're looking for, whether it says male, female, whatever, so that has been very beneficial for us. And then we get support from our helpline dealing with intake as well, and that's another adjustment that we've made. But before we went to Zoom, we did it all. It was all paper shuffling and moving paper. But now I don't even have to touch it anymore. And then also mainly what I do, I try to call before class or before the group and just touch bases with each individual so we can start off with a personal relationship. I find out, hey, what's how you doing? What do you want to learn from the class? I'm here to support you. I'm there for you. Just make them feel comfortable so that they don't have that shock treatment when they just first get in front of the group. And now everybody's trying to, fill everybody out. At least they know me. They know that I'm there for them. And so they all have that in their mind. And then they can start introducing themselves and we move forward that way.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anyone else that's not on the panel want to add anything about what you might be doing? And it doesn't just have to be with the dads that you're working with. We've had to change how we work, period. So just in your provision of services, what have you had to change just to be effective? It's like if you're not doing nothing now that's different, you're getting left behind. And you're just not keeping up. So what are we doing to just be able to keep up? Anyone not on the panel want to answer that? No? Joshua? Hi, Josh.
Hello.
How
I
are
think
you?
doing well. I'm kind of cold, like my limbs, my hands and feet are freezing. But I would say just being flexible right now. Things are hard. People are still adjusting. I'm still adjusting. So pretty much just being flexible and understanding and always be willing to meet them halfway in their attempt, even more if need be, to make sure that they know that you are there for them and can build that trusting relationship of, yes, I'm receptive, I'm responsive, and I'm here for you.
Receptive and responsive. That's kind of huge right now. Responsive. Like I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Like I'm going to call you and then I'm going to call you. Like something happened. Lowe's lost my order that I made and I went to go pick it up from Lowe's and they were like, "Oh, we're so sorry. We lost your order." And I was like, "Then why you call me and tell me it was here if it's lost?" And so I, was kind of not happy. The lady said, "I'm going to call you. I'm going to figure out what happened to your order and I'm going to call you." Do y'all think she called me? No, she didn't call me. This is something little. It was a little lock that I needed. And I was not happy. We dealing with people's families and stuff. I was mad about an item. And people's what do we want to call it? People's window of tolerance right now is very limited for a whole bunch of reasons. So folks need one little reason to talk about you. One little reason to talk about your agency. One little reason to talk about your organization. One little mistake. And it's a done deal. And so that responsiveness and that doing what we say we're gonna do, even on little stuff is so important right now.
Yeah, you're right. I had a client.
Chris, can I let Rashawn get in? Go ahead, Rashawn. You're on. Okay, you're good.
So for us, I work for HSA in San Francisco, And we have in the last, 3-4 weeks, we've been required to come into the office once a week and still telecommute 4 days a week. So I have made it a conscious effort to meet with at least one family while I'm at work. So I've been meeting with people at the park. One family wanted me to go to a doctor's appointment with her and the children, so I did that. So just kind of still trying to meet people where they are when I'm present in the office.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's yeah, and being able to meet with families right now is really
People keep
amazing.
asking me, when are you coming back? I want to see you, right? Because we go from we're a home visiting program. So we're in people's homes.
Oh,
Some of my families I've worked with when moms were pregnant. Now the babies are 2 and 3. So, I still see them virtually, but it's really a different connection when you can't see people in person.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm as excited as the babies are when we go to the park, right?
Right, right. And what can we do? I think y'all are probably I live in Southern California, I didn't tell you that. But I think up there, like the San Francisco area, Bay Area is a little more strict around things than we are. Y'all numbers are better than our numbers down here too, which is why. But there's things we can do that we can be safe. We can adhere to these guidelines and everything until they tell us we can't be outside again and all of that. But there's ways that we can be safe and get out there and see people, and that can help. Anyone else want to answer on how you guys have really had to change? It's just really been necessary to change.
Yeah, I was going to add before we got to that about being responsible and following up and things like that, because we offer diaper services, and many of our clients depend upon the diaper services. And so, when we say we're going to give them diapers, look, they're looking for those diapers. And so making sure that we follow through, setting things up to where we can drop them off or they can come by the office and pick them up, and being safe is very vital. And even with gift cards, if they need gift cards to get something for the baby or something like that, or some food, making sure that we follow through and actually get that and put that, well, not necessarily put them in their hands, but actually get that to them as safely as possible.
Yeah, that's really huge. I'm going to share my screen one more time and we keep going.
And to piggyback on that, Chris, and the being flexible piece where you may agree on a time that your client is going to come by and pick something up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that client is going to be there at that time. We as providers have to be patient. Number one, remember that we are on the clock. We're getting paid to do this, and if they are running late, or whatever, we can't hold that against them. They have a lot going on, and it's our job to meet them where they are.
Yep.
A lot of times, we can get caught up and we can be a little impatient when people don't follow through on their end. But we got to be understanding that life happens, and it's literally our job to be flexible.
Yeah,
Totally.
And a lot of times I give my clients this time frame. So I'll be in the office from 12 to 4. And if anything happens, let me know, because I can drop it off to you on my way out or something like that. So yeah, being very flexible and understanding life happens.
Yeah. A lot of times we sometimes forget that it is our job to work, like we are working for them, and in a lot of cases we're getting paid a pretty comparable amount of money for what we have to deal with. So I just think we just need to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
The follow-up.
Go ahead, Ebdi.
The follow-up is very important. When we hold our cafe dads, we might have fathers show up for the first time. They've never been to the group before, and they're bringing a grievance about a school. Something knowledge is not working. So during that time in the evening hours, we can't get into the bottom of it. So we'll take that information, and then someone follows up with that father. And when we say we will, we have to follow up on it, or else we've lost this, credibility. We lost this potential father, for the group.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing that I've learned during this time, it's really easy. And I said that a lot of us our window of tolerance is very short. But when do we are we realizing when we get into our feelings about something? I had a young lady completely read me in a text. And I was so in my feeling. I didn't respond to her for a whole day. I think that made her even madder at me. But then I said, okay, all right, I see. Right. So I got all out of my feelings. And then I said, if you're still interested in doing this thing, please let me know, but that will require a conversation. And then we smoothed everything out. She signed up and we're good. But that initial lashing out at me, she dealing with a lot. Like 23-year-old, 2 kids, teen mom, like a lot going on. But yep, I was in my feelings for a minute. So are we being aware of where we are and how we are dealing with people right now too? Because all of this is impacting us too, is impacting our families too. We are stressed out too. And then you trying to help and then somebody go off on you because you didn't help the way they thought you should help. And you like, excuse me? What is happening right now? All right, I got some humor for us. So we're going to talk about more virtual engagement and some things not to do. So I'm going to show you this here. And I made sure I had on my sound. Give me a thumbs up so I can make sure y'all can hear.
Technology kills viruses in just one. What did you do, Mom? Dad, holy crap! Ya quedó, ya solamente tenemos que registrar autonomía curricular y el área socioemocional de los niños, porque esa parte está quedando bien. Perdón,
Goodbye. All right.
Perdón.
Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
See you guys.
Tony!
Can you hear us?
Tony!
Oh no! Don't, Jen, call him. Oh my gosh! Hold on, I'm gonna text a couple pictures of that. Oh. Oh. Oh boy.
What's up?
Tony, I can see you when you're
We can all
there.
see you.
And this meditation is great for bringing about a sense of relaxation, well-being, and calm. So starting just quickly by breathing in and breathing out. And it's really challenging, I know, with children home from school and working from home, but just trying to just keep all of those distractions out of the way.
Maple, can you stop just for a second? 3, 2, 1. More cold air. 3, 2, 1. Cold air continues across the area tonight. Potential for some frost and freeze for some of us. Warm up, it's going to take... Hey, hey, come here. Come here. Come here. Sit. 3, 2, 1. Frost and freeze for some of us again tonight. The cold air is lingering through much of the week. We'll show you when the best chance of precipitation is with Futurecast. Maple.
All right. So like Darren said, I think Darren's still here. So having some humor while we work in this And this environment is really, really interesting. So let's unmute and some of y'all share some of the most humorous things that have happened since you guys have been doing this work on Zoom, and then how it connects to how we need to be to what's working for virtual engagement of dads and people in general. So I'm gonna turn it back over to the panel. What's working?
So some of the things that I've seen during the Zoom. Um, my favorite story is I had a client, and I think this was like our first week, April of 2020, when we first started. Had a client who, was at home and everything. And I guess for whatever reason, how he had his camera set up, he sits down on the bed and all you see is butt crack, just straight butt crack all up in the screen. And I'm just like, oh my God, man, like do something. And the rest of the guys are looking at it and just laughing. I mean, it was one of the most hysterical moments, to start off our group with in a long time. So of course after that, we came up with guidelines and things like that. Another guy I had on the group, exhausted, got home, took off his shirt and just laid across the bed, and literally across the middle of the screen you just see belly, just bare belly all out. And he's talking, he's like, no guys, I don't agree with that. I mean, but all you see is belly. So you get things like that. Is I mean, they participate, but I mean, it's just some wild stuff.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And what else is working right now in terms of our engagement and doing it on Zoom or Google Meets or Hangouts or whatever, FaceTime? What's working?
For us, Dara, our engagement has actually spiked since we moved to a virtual platform. Particularly speaking of dad discussions, we started off our first event, we had over 90 people on the call. Now it's a little different because we had 1,000 people register for our fatherhood summit back in March 2019. So we were working with that those contacts that we already had. So everybody may not have a list that robust, but what it spoke to is that dads really needed a place to come together. Yep. And so to be able to provide that virtual space for dads just to talk to other dads, receive information, and lean on each other in this, we started dad discussions back in April. That was right when, the stimulus checks and things were coming out. So a lot of dads were finding out that they, weren't receiving stimulus because they were behind on child support. A lot of non-custodial dads were going through not seeing their kids because they, we were sheltering in place. And, some of these dads are in some really complicated and complex relationships. So, when those relationships are difficult with their co-parent, sometimes last thing they need is another reason not to let dads see their kids, and shelter in place was delivered to them in a package. So there were dads going through a lot of stuff at that time. And so just moving to a virtual space helped us engage dads easier. So that was, unexpected, I think. I don't know if I expected that, but it has been a pleasant surprise.
Yes. And since you said that, I want you guys, if you have your interactive slides still open, if you go back to the interactive slide and go to slide 3, slide 3 is around benefits and opportunities of virtual groups. So I want us to go to that page. If you can see it, I see you guys all coming in and just let's put together a nice robust list of the benefits and or opportunities of moving to this virtual space. What have been the benefits? What have been the opportunities? And please list them.
It's also, Dara, allowed us to reach dads that are out of county, out of state. We've had folks on dad discussions from New Mexico, from Atlanta, from Chicago, we've had folks from all over the country that tap in on discussions. So that's something that we weren't able to do when we weren't operating from a virtual platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll agree with that as well. We've had guys on from Dallas, Texas, and everything else like that. So yeah, very, very beneficial. Also, it's the convenience of it. And I'll share this one. Right around May of last year, we had one of our guys went to the George Floyd protest in San Francisco, and it was able to chime in directly from San Francisco and show us what was going on in San Francisco during the protests. Never wouldn't have got that if we hadn't moved to the virtual platform. So the convenience of having the mobile participant is most definitely a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Guys calling in from driving on the cars, and guys calling in outside while they're walking in the park and things like that. One of my clients is a dog walker, and he participates as he walking dogs. So just different things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, well, a couple of things too. One thing I said before too is, well, I think Brother Otis said it. Just the ability with all the papers that the handouts has made it a lot simpler for us being able to kind of just, as opposed to me, I used to have the biggest issue with scrambling and making sure I got enough copies for my attendance sheet. I'm looking at my attendance sheet and say I'm gonna have, when we're in person, say, okay, I'm gonna have 16, 17, 18 days. I'm making all these copies, scrambling to make all these copies, and I got too many copies, or don't make enough, and and then I have to make more. Now I can just send them out. So that's really been easy, having those things digital. Equally so, when we talk about able to reach more dads, the other thing that's been really beneficial too as well is being able to essentially, even though we're doing it this way, people are inviting you into their home too. When you have on screen, you can kind of see that it opens up opportunities to for us to feel a little bit more connected and seeing like, man, like you see what's going on here and there, and then the kids here, and then you see them moving around their house and different things of that nature. And it just gives you an opportunity to connect a little bit more with that.
Also wanted to add, as a facilitator, it's easier. It's less. You're not as stressed when you're not dealing with traffic. One hard thing for me was getting out the office and maybe going to a location. So there's a lot of benefits as a facilitator. Now I find myself more relaxed, and I'm able to just really flow better than I did when I was driving and having to go from one location to the next.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I agree. We held our meetings in the evenings. Fathers are coming from work, they're having to fight through, rush hour traffic. And, parents, they don't have to worry about, making dinner and all the other stuff on top of trying to make it to the meetings. They can dial in directly from the comfort of their home right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, and the best thing about that is everyone can choose their own temperature. Whereas before we used to go to meetings, there was a cold rooms, So,
That's funny. I didn't even think about that, Abdi. Yeah. And also, we've been talking about trying to record our trainings for years now. And now doing everything on Zoom, we're easily able to record and then post those recordings on our webpage, which is new for us. So I just thought about that as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is a very nice list. Thank you, guys. And I got one more thing before we go to our closing that I want to. All right. So this is another one of the interactive slides. So you can either do this with clicking and dragging where you are, but you can also go ahead and annotate. Has anyone done annotate in Zoom? Okay, so annotate, the way you do this is you will see that it says somewhere on your screen, you're viewing Dara's screen. And then you're gonna click on view options, and then you can go to annotate. And then it brings up a little bar. So you can do annotate, or we can do the interactive slide for this. But for this slide, I want you to let me know, how confident are you with doing your work in this Zoom environment, right? So we have very confident to very nervous to no experience training online or lots of experience online. So just like you double clicked and told us your goal, you can double click and put your icon somewhere on this spectrum, wherever you think you are. How comfortable are you? How confident are you? How much experience have you had doing your work in this environment, and where your comfort level is? Okay, it's people using the stars. Somebody's moving the arrow.
I thought that was you.
Nope. So we got people moving, people are most people are pretty confident. And most of us have gained a lot of experience either leading training or just being on online platforms doing our work. So this, I'm sure, would have looked a lot different in like June or July. Y'all, we going on into 2021, and we've been in this environment for a little while, and it shows the expertise. When you have to learn something, we learn it pretty quickly. I'm also showing you these different tips and tools as a means for you to be able to use them in your engagement with families. Okay, so all of this will be emailed to you after the training. Probably not on today, but probably Monday. So let me go back to, look at that, still up there. That's amazing. All right.
Dara, just to be clear,
Sure.
the materials will likely not be emailed out until not next week, but the following week, because our office is closed next week, and Virve will not be able to get that stuff done today. So this video, this training will be recorded, and we'll email the materials out to you first week in December.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, y'all, it's almost December.
Isn't that crazy?
Hey, 2020 is almost over. So here's the things that's working, and we just gonna summarize. So having some etiquette around our technology, letting people know what to do, what not to do, using breakout rooms and things when we're in groups, various ways to engage dads when we do have them in the room, even one-on-one or in groups. Having a backup plan, like understanding what it is that dads might want to talk about at the moment, and also incorporating the things that we need to understand. And then I think I might have skipped one of my slides, but motivational interviewing is really important right now. That's another way that we can get answers to our 49 sheet intake
Yeah,
packet.
it's huge. I use it a lot. Trust me, I use motivational interviewing a lot.
Yes, so we can be in like a more organic conversation, getting the answers instead of reading off the answers just
Right.
like right. So it's just a more engaging way of getting the information that we need. Inviting people to speak when we're on, maybe sometimes calling people out like I did to Joshua. I hope you're okay with that. And then basically when we're engaging people on these platforms, we just cannot be boring, and we cannot be just lecturing. We also should be remembering the principles of adult learning anytime that we're engaged. Is what we're talking about relevant? Is what we're talking about practical? Is it something that they can go home and use immediately? Because if it's not, it's like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people vote just by not coming back. They're not telling us what we did that they didn't understand or they didn't like or didn't appreciate. They just totally disengage, and we never a lot of times know why. Did you want to say something? Somebody's still annotating on my slide. That's okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, just with the whole virtual aspect of things, utilize your network and get those speakers in that are the subject expert matter experts on the subject matter. And I'll share this. There was a guy I was trying to get in for 2 years to actually come into our in-person groups, and he couldn't because of where he was and the travel and things like that. And literally the moment that we went virtual, I was able to book him just like that. So it's easier to book, guest speakers now because they have the time, they're at home, they're working remotely, so get them in and utilize them as much as possible. Set up a schedule of how you want to do it. As far as series are a lot easier to do now. So, those are what I kind of find to be beneficial when it comes to doing things virtually now.
Mm-hmm. No breaks, sorry. But it is important to take breaks when we have folks in our, how long are your intakes, Chris, the 49-page one? Somebody is messing with me with this annotating. I just know, see how the teachers feel, but how long do you have people on your Zoom, or how long do you have that intake appointment take? It's important that we allow people to take care of themselves and take a break, but we didn't take one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry. We had a lot to cover. Anyway, an experiential training always end and begin with the shared experience. And so what I want you to do is answer this question. So in your virtual engagement of families, of dads, fathers right now, what's one idea that you got from this gathering that you're going to use going forward? So I'm going to ask you to just think about that for a moment. For you to unmute yourself, say your answer, and then you can choose who goes next. What is one idea that you got from this gathering that you can use in the next couple months?
Flyers on the pizza boxes and the food bank.
One. You don't want to take too many, right? Because you got to get everybody. So now you tell one of us to go.
Okay, Dara, you're next.
What? Me? Oh my goodness.
Under the bus.
Totally. I'm gonna have to pass because I don't want to say a whole bunch of things. So I'm gonna pass, and then I'm gonna go to Oscar. Hey, Oscar. Are you there? This is kind of one of the things we talked about on the call yesterday.
This happens.
Who wants to address this? If you've been doing meetings, groups, go ahead.
So one of the things that I do, I'll reach out to him just like you did. Hey, Oscar, you there? No response. And then I'll send a private message through the chat to him, just saying, hey, Oscar, looking for your participation. Hope that you are well. If you have to step away, that's fine, but really would like to have your participation. And if I don't get a response, then the next day I'll reach out to him by email or phone and just kind of figure out and find out if he's okay, things are going well, and then just let him know, hey, look, when you want your opinion, your thoughts, it matters, and we really want you to participate.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Chris. All right, I guess I get to choose again.
No, Oscar just said that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, so Oscar, so he replied in the chat. Thank you, Oscar. Right, and so that's what. So what are one thing? Could you type that in the chat, Oscar? What is one thing that you would like to take away from today's group? Can you type that in for us? Thank you.
Go ahead, Dara. You can call on somebody else.
Thank you, Oscar, for helping us kind of talk about one of the issues that does happen when we do these online groups, meetings, and one-on-ones is people's technology can be doing all kind of stuff. And it's really on us as the providers, service providers, and facilitators to figure out, is this person here? Or do they want to participate? And how can we make it possible for them to participate? So thank you. I'm going to call on Hector. Hi, Hector.
Hello.
Hello.
So what's one idea that you got from the gathering that you might use in the next couple months?
There's many. But just being relevant. I mean, and it could be in a lot of ways. It could be in a cultural way. It could be in just initiating that initial, therapeutic relationship. But just being relevant, being able to listen and to pick up on cues, but just to make what you're presenting to them, what you're offering to them, relevant to their reality, and put it in terms that they truly understand.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important.
Hector, thank you. Choose who goes next.
Okay. How about Rayshawn?
I feel like I should be busting a move. Like, boom, it's my turn. I'm having. I would say to definitely be flexible. And what I mean by flexible is we usually try to schedule our appointments, but what I've been finding, when I get people on the phone, because people are going through a lot of things right now. So when I get people on the phone, and if they have time, we're doing it right now, so just to kind of be flexible and meet people where they are.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. You choose
And
who's next.
Because you're sharing your screen, I can't see who else is there.
Oh, my bad. Let me stop sharing.
Okay.
All right, good.
Oh, good. I get to pick somebody. Let's see. I'm gonna pick LaDonna Daly.
Are you there, LaDonna?
Uh-oh. Okay. So maybe I wonder if LaDonna's microphone is messed up too.
Choose someone else.
Okay. I'm gonna pick is it Leha?
Yes.
Lee.
You are muted, Lee.
Okay. So one thing that I learned from this is connecting, like say, I'm doing what I always been doing with my clients and with our families, supporting the school district and all Alameda County residents, whatever with what the services that we are providing right now. But like with the father group, we haven't really been, doing so much of that or trying to get in. And so with this group, like say, I wanted to connect and I wanted to, cooperate and collaborating. And I think that I give out my emails and my information. And I think, I don't know how to say it, but I wanted to, it's not an easy, because I did run one workshops and I remember we had people drop off, people hard to get in, all kind of trouble. You see it on here too, some things that we've seen it. But I'm just going to like say I'll be here, and if you need to promote, if you need to anything, I don't know, I'm just connecting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, connecting is really, really important right now. Lee, please choose someone else to go.
Okay. I hate picking someone. Darren White. You winner? Is he there?
I don't know.
I think it's kind of nervous when they call on you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Darren ain't nervous.
Darren, you still here? We know people also multitask during Zoom meetings, right? So that's okay.
And I think it's a good idea when you say that, show your face sometime, because then we see what they're doing.
That's true. That's true.
There was a story that
I'll pick another person. I'll pick Robert Martinez.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm just sitting here trying to eat lunch. That's why I got my screen. I didn't hear. I just joined. I was a little late, but I did run a fatherhood meeting this morning with Lamont, and what's been helpful. I don't know what you guys were talking about before, but what's been helpful is picking the right time to send out the link for a fatherhood meeting or Zoom. We've done some research on that, I guess you could say, and what really seems to be working is like almost that day, like the closer you can get it, because we got our group at 10 in the morning, and I start work at 9, but we've been doing it towards the end of the day, the night before, around 5 o'clock, and that seems to be really working. Like everyone's getting the link, they're getting, if they have any questions, there's time in between to call us. I think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Joshua, what's one thing you gathered from this gathering?
Hey, so what I got out of this was pretty much just to almost take a step back and just look at the bigger picture, see where we can adjust our process and see how we can, strengthen those areas of weaknesses and opportunities, and how we can, aggressively approach those areas of opportunities. Since we are finishing up this last quarter, I feel like next quarter it'll be a lot better or a lot easier for us to have a more detailed process and be able to come harder and to make sure that we're making the smart choices for these outreaches that we're trying to do. So that's what I got. And I have to leave you guys. I have another appointment at 1. So I just want to thank you guys all for sharing your experiences, and I look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. We're supposed to be ending at 1. We might go to 101. Monte, what did you get from this gathering that you can use? You're muted.
Am I okay? Thank you. I really thank Hector for inviting us. But the one thing I got is that we are all facing the same situations, be it with the Fathers Program. Everybody's connected in one way or another, but to be able to see how people function, or just the ideas across the whole panel here is quite similar, so you're not feeling by yourself. And I think in this virtual world, I've been looking at the same ivy out my window for the last months, it kind of connects you to everyone, and a commonality. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'm going to turn it back over to Kevin. He has a couple of announcements, and I know there's a link for the survey that he wants to announce too.
Yeah, really quick. Thank you, Dara. Thank you to our panelists, Otis, Abdi, Michael, and Chris. Yes, the link to the survey, the workshop survey, is in the chat. Virve will also be emailing it out to you. We have a beautiful new 2020 through 2022 fatherhood calendar that we have available. So if you're interested in receiving one of those, there it is right there. It is an amazing, amazing piece of artwork. Email Virve your mailing address, and she will put a calendar in the mail to you. And I put her email address in the chat already as well. Anyway, thanks for spending your Friday late morning, early afternoon with us. I hope you guys have a chance to grab some lunch. Have a safe holiday. Emphasis, underline, safe holiday. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your people that are close to you. And we'll talk to you again next month. I strongly, strongly encourage you guys to attend December and January's training. If you have not already seen, Darren, I don't want to hear it. If you have not already seen Arnold Chandler's presentation on the life course approach towards improving the lives of boys and men of color, you will be in for some sobering data, but the data is what it is. So I strongly
I'm
encourage you to
I'm
attend
not
those.
listening to that bullshit.
Great.
Around the holiday.
I only made it.
Look, in your group, in your future groups, you're gonna have to learn how to use the mute button.
I'm definitely gonna have to learn how to use the mute button.
I'm muted for that. Just for that.
It is.
You know,
it is very, very sobering data, but the data is what it is. So I strongly encourage you to attend. Even you, Darren. I've seen him present probably about 10 times, and I learned something new every time. So encourage you to attend those. Anyway, have a great holiday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for coming. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Kevin. Kevin.
Yes.
A young man from a young man named Audrey is going to be contacting you from CYO.
Okay.
And he needs to be connected to the child support people.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
No problem. You too. Thank you.
And you know I'm gonna be on that meeting.
Don't be heckling him from the audience either. Don't be heckling him from behind your black screen.
And annotating on his slides and stuff.
I'll write stuff down and put up a card that say whatever. All right, love y'all.
Love you too.
All right.
Have a good holiday, brother.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my goodness.
Man. That was interesting. I definitely feel like the energy